Well, hello.
Hello.
Yes.
And welcome to this episode of Let's Talk Shop with Russ. We're running a few minutes behind. I hope nobody's mad at me for doing that. Well, we had a few things we had to work out. We had some microphone problems. I had some, and a couple of other guys did. So we were trying to work that out. Tonight's episode, we're going to be talking about shop safety. I asked everybody if they could bring a few things along if they had them to talk about. If you have pictures or whatever, that's fine too. But the overall thing, we're just going to talk about safety in the shop, and then if you have, I've brought a few things behind me, not anything big or elaborate, just to talk about. So our special guest tonight is Laney Shaughnessy from a Simple Design of Ocala.
Hey guys.
He's here tonight, going to be with us and help us talk about safety. And so the first thing we're going to do is go down the panel. Laney, I'll let you. I'll introduce you last, so to speak. I've already introduced you, but you can talk last, and I'll go down the panel. And I'm going to start with. He's got himself blocked. What are you doing over there, Brian? All right. Well, since he's the. Oh, there he is, Brian. We'll start off with Brian. Introduce yourself and tell us where we can find you.
Yeah, I'm Brian Gidney of Summers Woodworking. You can find me at summerswoodworking.co or else search Summers Woodworking on YouTube.
Next in line is Mr. Chris Ahern. Go ahead.
I'm Chris Ahern. You can find me on YouTube under the Old Cranky Workshop, and on YouTube under, Facebook under the Old Cranky Workshop, on YouTube under Chris the Wheeler, or the local pub.
Very good. Next is John Cousins.
Hey everybody, it's John P.A. Cousins here. You can find me on Facebook under my name or on Facebook under Wood If I Could, Scroll Sawing and Woodworks. Oh, Chris, I got your sticker, by the way. Thanks a lot. And yeah, back to you, Russ.
Next is Mr. Ron Buchanan. Well, Ron, your mic ain't working, so we can't hear anything you're saying. Well, I don't know if you can hear us, but we can't hear you. So, all right, we'll go next in line to Mr. Russ Meadows.
Yeah, Russ Meadows here from Beaumont, Texas. You can find me on Facebook under my name, Russ Meadows, and also on my Facebook page, Rusty Nail Woodworks.
Very good. And then Tommy G. He's in the house.
Yeah, my name's Tommy Gonzalez, and you can find me on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all under Tommy G Workshop.
And then naturally, I'm Russ. You can find me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, all the above. I have my own website, Simply Wooden Creations. I don't know if I mentioned it before, but this is Season 1, Episode 7. But tonight we're going to go right into talking about safety. We got a couple other things we're going to do toward the end of the show, and I asked Laney if he would come by and visit us on the panel and talk about safety. So I'm going to turn it over to you if you want to talk. Tell us what you have and how you keep safe in the shop. Go ahead.
Hey guys, well of course my name is Laney Shaughnessy and I have a Simple Design of Ocala.com. You can find me on Facebook on at Laney Shaughnessy or Simple Design of Ocala, and then of course just type in Laney Shaughnessy and find me on YouTube.com. Well, when it comes to safety in the shop, I mean I've got quite a few different devices. There's no particular brand or anything that I'm a fan of, but I have 3M products. You know, like for when I'm turning or sanding and everything, I've got my 3M respirator that has a micron filter on it that just really catches all the very fine particles. And then when I don't want to grab my respirator or something, then I just simply use the 3M dust masks that have the little valve respirator built into them. I have two sets of different hearing protection because I run, when I'm running my saws or my CNC, sometimes the pitch can get quite loud. So the headphones or the hearing protection I use is a Peltor, and it has some built-in microphones on it, so I can still hear outside, but it's kind of a reduced noise because one of the things that one of the big things of safety is, when you've got your hearing protection on, and you're kind of focused on what you're doing, any little distractions could kind of surprise you, and you definitely don't want to be surprised, especially when you're working at the table saw and everything. So little microphones, because I have customers coming in and out of the shop, from time to time, and if they just walking in or something and my back's turned to the door, the last thing I want to be startled as I'm trying to push a wood, piece of wood through the blade. So I have these little microphones that are built into them that allow me to still hear. I can hear when my door opens and everything. It's kind of a controlled volume. And then, I have just a regular set of earphones. Now these things, very inexpensive, got them at Harbor Freight, but man, they block out all the sound. Can't hear anything with them on. And then, of course, some safety glasses, no particular brand or anything, but always important. I wear these all the time. Safety glasses are one of the most important things because I cannot stand having anything hit me in the eye. And when you're working at the table saw or something without safety glasses, if a little particle of dust comes up your eyes, you kind of flinch and your eyes close. Well, now you can't see where your hands are and what you're doing, and also it's always important to have those safety glasses on. But these, most of these products are 3M products, and I have no affiliation with 3M. They're really good products, and it's what I use.
When I grew up, my father taught me woodworking. My father was I'm thinking he was probably around 58 or 60 when I was born. I forget now. But he was born in 1896. So I was an oops child, trust me. But, back in the day when they did woodworking, there was no dust mask. There was no ear protection. There was no eye protection. They didn't even, I don't even think, other than if you had to wear glasses to see, that'd be the only eye protection you had. So I grew up kind of like in that era that it was really hard for me personally to adjust to start using some of this stuff, ear and eye and protection. So I know when people see some of my videos, I intentionally cut myself out other than my hands or anything below, so you can't see me in my videos, because a lot of times I start the video and I'm sorry, it's just I'm already into it and doing it, and I forgot the glasses, or I forgot this and forgot that. And I've paid the price. Trust me, I've had a piece of metal one time stuck in my eye. I had to go to the hospital, and they had to remove it. And like for 3 or 4 months, I had to go to an ophthalmologist and everything. So I've paid the price for it.
You also wear shorts while you're woodworking too.
Yes, I wear shorts while I'm woodworking. So what's your point? Well, now the shorts thing is because it's hot in Florida. When I was doing full-blown construction and I had a construction company. No, out on the job site, I always wore pants. I wore jeans. I wore jeans every day of the week. And then when I was a firefighter, we wore pants also. We weren't allowed to wear shorts. But since I'm retired and working around my own shop, darn right, it's hot here in Florida. I'm wearing shorts.
Now, I'm also a Florida boy myself, and now I'm kind of a strange Florida boy because I don't think my legs have seen sunlight in over 10 years. I do not wear shorts, no matter how hot it gets, and I don't know why. But now in the shop, I a lot of times I'll wear T-shirts, or I wear long sleeve shirts that are kind of rolled up, like the Norm Abram plaid type, shirts and everything, and I just make sure that any loose clothing, depending on what machine I'm at, I'll tuck in a shirt, or make sure my sleeves are rolled up. I've had my fair share of incidents in the shop, admittedly. One of my incidents that kicked back, was caught on film as I was filming. So now I'm a little bit more cautious. I used to kind of, I didn't worry about the clothing and stuff and whatever I wore back before I started video filming. But as you know, as a content creator, you have a responsibility to kind of present, the the do's and don'ts, and people kind of watch what you do, and you get safety police out there, and I do not like those guys. I don't like them yelling at me, so I tried my best to make sure that stuff rolled up. But so I've got my push blocks, I've got my grippers and everything, and my safety gear, and I'm a jeans and t-shirt kind of guy here in the Florida sun, and it works fine for me.
Well, that's kind of strange for me too, is the fact that I used to always wear, when I was in construction and on the fire department, we weren't allowed to wear shorts. We had to wear pants, and I always wore pants. The only time, like if I went fishing or on the beach or something, I'd put shorts on. But since I've retired and not even doing construction, now I have like 2, maybe 3 pairs of pants, and that's including dress pants. Everything else is shorts. I got like 40 pairs of shorts.
Right. Now, I don't go to the extreme, like, okay, out in the field, because I do go out in the field from time to time, and I have steel-toe shoes and stuff, but in the shop, I don't, every once in a while I'll wear flip-flops out in the shop, but not when I'm woodworking, just when I'm just out here hanging, because I have a TV. I spend 17 hours a day in my shop, so,
Wow.
7 days a week, so I'm out here, and so I'm watching TV. I wear flip-flops up, but I throw in some old beater tennies and stuff, but yeah, I do not miss going out in the field too often. I kind of like being inside my shop now.
It's interesting that you brought up the 3M thing. Now, I had a respirator. It broke the other day, so I've got to buy a new one. But I like that. I use 3M products a lot too. I use these little dust masks. Now, I really like these because they're not cumbersome. They're not like the big respirator. And if I'm going to do something where I need to, naturally I'm going to use the respirator. But overall, I like using these. They have a little metal clip that you can bend around your nose. It's the 2-strap, not the single strap. So there's a difference. And these work very well. I used to buy them. I bought them by the boxes and kept them on the tool trailer for all the guys when we were out there in construction to use. So I tell you what, you talk about 3M, they're one of the leading brands if you ask me. And yeah, see Tommy, he's got one over there too.
Yeah, I use the exact same ones.
Yeah, because I'm sorry, I sweat a lot, and so a respirator, that plastic around my nose and everything, it ends up getting drenched and everything. I know it's like yes, but those don't seem to bother me as much, and so I use them a lot. But 3M is a quality product. I mean, I understand everybody's got some complaints with this, that, or the other anytime you turn around, but 3M to me is a quality product. I like 3M. So.
Yeah, I mean, for sure. And the 3M products, it's the same thing. It's the fiberglass and valved respirator. 3M, they're pretty good. Yep. Heck, they, everything from their adhesives to their tape to their respirators, and not bad on the price. I think Lowe's this is like a 10-pack of these respirators. I think it runs around like $9.95 or $10. So it's like $1 a respirator, and even for disposable, I mean they last quite well. Now the valve respirator, like you were saying, or the respirator, the regular respirator, the one thing, it's not too uncomfortable, but it's I end up with this red mark across my face, and when I take it off after wearing it for a long period of time, and it looks like I'm like on drugs or something. It's a real deep red impression. It looks like I'm like, just did a line or something. But other than that, I mean, it's a really good respirator. And I'm using the, I don't know, it's the G70 filters on it. I don't know what the micron setting on them is, but it's a pretty tight. It's for chemical gas type, so of course it catches all the dust and everything.
Anybody else on the panel have any questions, or you want to bring up anything?
I got one little something here. It's just it doesn't have to do with that. It just sometimes when I'm cutting on the saw and I got the regular little dust mask on, and then I got to go over there and paint. I'll forget that I do have that same respirator that he's got, 3M, but I forget to put it on. And I go over there and start painting. And I said, "Oh man, you can really tell the big difference when you don't have that respirator on."
Oh yeah, there's all the difference. Those little dust masks, like we're showing, like right here,
Yeah,
they're not designed for spraying or for paint or anything like that. It's strictly like a big particle dust mask. It's not for the finer dust. It helps a lot. Don't get me wrong, but yeah, you're going to be able to tell a big difference real quick whenever you go from wearing that and going over to do something and painting. Like I said, it's hard to teach an old dog new tricks. I'm sorry. I try my best. Now, eye protection, I've learned the hard way. I've had some stuff in my eye a few times, and so I'm kind of worried about that. And I've got a full face shield, which I didn't bring in here tonight. I like wearing it better than I've got like right here with me, I've got one sitting up there. They stay hung up there, and these are scattered out throughout my shop. But I've got all kinds. I love the sunglasses types because I do a lot of work outside. So, I've got a bunch of eye protection. That's my biggest thing that I use. Even this one. Now, this one came. This is about I wanted to show this for one reason. This is about the worthless piece of crap I've ever seen in my life. I bought.
Yeah, I got 2 of those.
I know one of them.
I bought this. This came with like a little hood and everything with my sandblaster from Harbor Freight. And I'm looking at this thing going like, really? So I just brought this up just as a kind of no, I've got a real nice one that's out there in the other part of the shop. But this thing is like, I've worn it a couple of times, and it would probably be great for doing minor stuff, but you sure don't want to rely on this flimsy plastic.
Oh, it fogs up too bad.
Well, now,
go ahead.
When I'm at the lathe and everything, I would like to have, I don't know, I haven't tried that full face shield from Harbor Freight or anything, but now when I'm working on my regular tools and stuff, I've got just my regular, just safety glasses. But when I'm at my lathe, I have a different pair of safety glasses that wear. They're a little bit more full, a little bit wider, and then they have the side protection because there's chips flying everywhere. So they stay on my lathe at all times. But I'd like to try, especially now that I'm getting more and more into turning and everything. I'm still a beginner in the turning aspect of the world. And I know there's some face shields and everything out there, but I have not tried the one like you have from hanging behind you, Russell.
Laney, you want to see what I use?
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, go ahead.
Now this is the one that I use.
Yeah, now that's a nice mask.
Yeah, and it doesn't cost that much. It's like 21 bucks. And I like this because it has the full frame. And if something hits this, it's going to most likely ricochet.
Right.
Now, I was wearing the kind that you were showing there, and those are so flimsy that anything can pretty much go right through it.
Yeah, it was when I got that, like I said, I bought a sandblaster from Harbor Freight, and it came with that and a hood and a few other things, and I kind of like laughed when I saw that. I'm like, really?
Yeah, and I got a respirator like Laney's. I like that, but you can't wear it with this mask.
Right.
Now, if you have something like Dave Picciuto has that slim pad that kind of like goes close to this middle section here, all they are is thin pads on each side, that would be great for this kind of mask.
Now, which brand? Which one is it? It's the full face shield mask that you're showing there, Brian. But it's got the built-in kind of like air
fresh air supply.
and everything like that. That
No.
seems like pretty cool. I don't know who makes it or what brand it is or where it is, but I know that like George Vondriska from the
Yeah, those are really expensive. Those
American
go right into the $1,000 mark.
Yeah, his doesn't look like it has that air
Mine
respirator.
doesn't have the fresh air intake. Now, for
So
the
where do you
money,
get-
this is the best protection.
But for where do you get the fresh air from? It's just open at the bottom so that it comes up from underneath. You can
Oh
breathe.
yeah, this thing is so light, and once you prop it up on top of your head, you'll even forget that you're even wearing it.
Yeah.
I don't even know what that face mask, the one that does have the fresh air, does it hook to your vacuum or something?
No, basically what they have is they have a, it's like an air inlet right up here,
Right.
and it's basically battery operated.
Ah, okay.
Yeah,
I think-
those
I
things
think it's
are
got a
in the-
filter and a fan that provides the air, and then.
Ah, all right. So you're not wearing a scuba tank or anything like that.
No,
No SCBA or nothing like that.
no,
Here,
it's
I
a
got a picture. I got a picture of one right here for you.
All right, show us, John.
Right there. Trend Air Shield Pro Pump.
Yeah, there you go. What's the price on it?
$400.
Yeah.
And $419 with a battery cradle, and it comes with ear defenders and everything else as well. So.
Yeah. Yeah,
You know,
those are the
full
ones
time
that
I
I've
could see
seen.
that.
Those are really, really nice, and they've got a lot of good ratings. It's just, I mean, $500 is a lot of money to be able to pay for a, for a face shield.
Yeah, I've been really thinking about getting into wood turning, and I've been looking at the one that Steve French has. That looks like a nice one. It's like a hard plastic, and it's fully clear.
Yeah, I don't like those though, Tommy.
No,
Those,
have you tried
those are like eyeglass holders that go over your ears, and they don't strap to your head. So if anything hits you in the face, there's not enough support to reflect it. That whole mask is just going to bury right into your face.
Right.
Now, if you want a good dust control, and these are washable, and I get these from Fast Cap, and it's called the MXV. You can wear that with that dust shield, and this won't fog up the shield. And also, if it gets really dirty, you can just hand wash it. It's reusable.
Yeah. Now, FastCap, they make a lot of good products. You said, Brian, you're saying that's washable?
Yeah, it's hand washable.
Huh.
See right here, hand washable for reuse. Also has 2 straps instead of the one, and it's built in within the mask itself. It's not held on with staples, so it's not going to just pull apart. And the elastic strap on here doesn't break down like the other ones.
Yeah, FastCap has a lot of nice products,
And their exhale valve pushes downward, so it's not releasing all that hot air up into your shield there.
but the point is those are only $13. I mean, if you use them 2 or 3 times, I just throw the thing away and get a new one rather than try to wash it out.
Well, yeah. But I'm just saying, if
Yeah.
you
Yeah,
need to
could
rewash it, you can rewash it.
If you're a little tight on money, it's an option.
Yeah. I just make sure I didn't put it in the washing machine when I wash my underwear.
Yeah. Right now, I'm doing a lot of milling and work with cedar, and it's that aromatic cedar. So it's a real fine pink dust, or kind of a reddish dust. So those white masks always end up looking pink when they're done. You definitely wouldn't want to wash that in with your whites.
Yeah. I've got a couple of questions over here on Facebook. One of them seems to be there's a couple of people asking is they want to know what you do full time, Laney. You woodwork in your shop, or what's your full time job?
My full-time job is woodworking. I worked with a couple of different companies. Digital Woodcarver. With Digital Woodcarver, it's a CNC unit, and I work as a trainer for their design software and running the machine, and troubleshooter for the customers. I do design work for their customers, CAD/CAM design. And then, of course, I go out to the trade shows with them. I just got back from Hickory, North Carolina, and this coming January through April, I'll be doing all 15 of the woodworking shows. I travel around doing the woodworking shows with them. Other than that, I work, full time in my shop, trying to get videos. Right now, I'm working on a new video. I can't let the cat out of the bag just yet. It's a collaboration video with another YouTuber who I went over to his shop. We started the build together, and then I'm going to be finishing it up tomorrow here, and he's going to finish up his on his side, and then we'll release the video together. So that's coming out. But lately, I've been traveling a lot. With Woodworking in America. I just did the Klingspor show, and then now I don't have any shows coming up until January, until the woodworking shows. But I used to work full time with a company, Eureka Zone, and when my just recently here, my contract with them was up, and I didn't renew because I want to get back to content creation, full-time video woodworking. So I've got some new tips and trick videos coming out, simple tips, and some live broadcasting. So that's what I do. That's what I mean. It's a full-time gig. I spend a lot of time in the shop, and then of course I do custom builds. But my goodness, I do custom builds for different things. I have guys that asked me to build them some really odd things, and then of course they bring them back because they busted through. This is like a jack press, like a press for a machine shop type thing, like a whatever you want to call it, and knowing it wasn't, I don't know what he was jacking with it, but it popped through. So a lot of repairs and just custom orders and stuff. And I make a lamp bases for a stained glass company. That's kind of a full-time gig as well. So there's a lot going on in the shop.
I think it's kind of neat that you live up in Ocala, which is only about maybe 2.5 hour drive away from me, which we talked about the other day. So now that you don't have any of your woodworking shows until January, hopefully I'll get a chance and we can either meet halfway, or I'll drive up to Ocala and we can have lunch one day.
Yeah, I mean, woodworkers are always welcome in my shop. Sometimes it's a mess, sometimes it's clean, but there's always something going on. So yeah, absolutely. And how far are you from Plant City?
Plant City is probably about 15, maybe 20 minutes from me.
Okay, so you're only an hour and 45 minutes from me, because tomorrow I have a trip. I have a service call in Plant City that I got to do. That's an hour and a half drive for me.
Yeah. Okay, so, that's good. Yeah, and then my good friends, which I've been over to his shop, and we also go to a woodworking club together. But Steve French, for those from Wood and Stuff, he's a good friend of mine, and he only lives about 10 or 15 minutes from me. So we've gotten together on several occasions. He's a real nice guy. I like Steve.
Absolutely. Now, other than the safety gear that you wear, what do you guys on the panel? What do y'all use for your? Do you have safety equipment that you use or like use? I mean, do you use shop-made push sticks, on your table saw, or do you use factory-made or commercially available push sticks?
Yeah, I make a lot of my stuff. I make my own push sticks. I've made my own filtration system. Post up a picture of it right now.
You got it, yeah, an air filtration system?
Yeah.
I have one in my other shop right behind here. It's a downdraft table and an air filtration system, and it circulates the air every hour, 6 times every hour. And man, I want to put it in this shop so bad, but there's no room. I made it too big. I need to make a smaller one of those kind of ceiling mount ones or something.
Yeah, that's exactly what I made. I have a video out on my channel, but this is the one that I've made. And then, like I said, I've made my own push sticks. And as far as equipment, I use latex glove for painting and finishing. Just the black latex gloves. I already showed you the air filters that I've got, and then I just have foam earplugs that I use, and of course my glasses that you guys all see me in, so all the time.
Those safety glasses, absolutely.
Anybody else? Chris, you got any?
Outside of the usual respirators, I got one that it's from Miller Electric, and a friend of mine had one, and I discovered the contractors on the base are using them too. It was like $25 from Amazon, and I'm gonna tell you, it works great. And supposedly you can take the filters out and wash them too. So, but my favorite one, and it's actually saved me a couple times, is I'm in my shop, much like Laney's is with the doors behind him. My big door is behind me when I'm working against the back wall on the stationary tools. I put a mirror on the wall behind those tools. So if something's coming up behind me, I'm going to see it long before I hear it. It's not going to startle me. Got a neighborhood full of kids, and they love to come down and see what I'm doing, which is fine, and they're usually respectful. But a couple of times, one of them has drifted up behind me, and that mirror has saved maybe a finger, or maybe me jumping at the kid and getting hurt. So,
You know, actually, that's not a bad idea at all. You know, because like you said, you get involved in your working. If you got headphones on and safety glasses, and you're in your own little world, you're not going to know if anybody comes up behind you.
Right. Twice the same little kid drifted into the shop behind me, and my back's been turned, and that mirror let me know he was there. So, probably the smartest thing I ever did. A simple $2 mirror on the back wall.
Now that's actually a really good idea, because there's been times, and luckily it's times that you know, my saw wasn't running or something, but I'd be standing at the saw just kind of in my own world. Maybe I'm marking out some boards, or I'm thinking of a project. I'm like totally focused, and maybe I had just finished making a cut or whatever. But even you know, with my headphones on, I can hear stuff behind me. But I've got this one neighbor. He's an older gentleman, and he always thinks I'm filming 24/7, or you know, so he doesn't want to disturb me, or he doesn't want to knock anything. But he really slowly opens the door, and he steps in. He's got some Indian in him or something. Man, that man's quiet, and I jump, you know, and you know, God forbid, you know, things like that, you know, while you're working with the saw, it's you know, you don't want to jump in the wrong direction. Mirror, that's actually an excellent idea. Excellent.
I mean, it could be something as simple as a little shading mirror or a concave mirror from a truck or something. Mine just happens to be a little shading mirror I found mounted on the back wall. So, very simple. The other thing we're talking about, the face shield, I got mine, I think it was out of Home Depot. 3M again. This is polycarbonate, and it's already paid for itself. I had something that's spinning off the lathe that would have caught me straight in the face if it wasn't for this. So, I swear by this thing. And the funny thing is, the respirator and the face shield, I was not a very safety conscious guy a while ago. So I was watching one of my own videos, and I realized how much I was coughing in some of the outtakes. And that's what made me think I gotta get a respirator better to cover my breathing. So it's not until you see it or you feel it that you know that, okay, that's an issue. So.
Yeah. Now I was gonna save this for the shop confessions, but with my little glasses on the lathe, I was like I said, I'm not an avid turner, or I'm not an experienced turner, and I had a small, I would say it was probably about 8 inches, you know, and it was probably like 2 inch by 2 inch, and I'm sitting there, and it's a square block. I'm roughing it, you know, to round, and it came off the lathe. And even with my safety glasses on, it popped me in the eye. And I'm going to tell you, I found out right then and there that I could probably take a punch if somebody hit me, because it waylaid me, and I was like, whoa. So, you know, I'm always, you know, luckily I had these on. But even with that thing hit me so hard, I thought I got decked. So, yeah, I could see how that face shield paid for itself.
Yeah, I had one thing go off and went behind me and missed me. Then I got this, and 2 weeks later, he hit me square in the face on the shield though. So, and that would have done some serious damage. I'm glad I had it now.
How much did that cost you?
I want to say it was like $30.
Oh, that's not bad.
Oh,
Yeah, they've got some fairly nice, just plain shields, a lot better than that one, like the one he's got, that are really nice and a lot thicker plastic. That's like the one I have out in the other part of the shop. Now I have a dust collection system out in the bigger part of the shop, but that shop out there has got like it's three walls. The one end, at the very end of it, solid is open. It doesn't have a garage door or anything down at the very far end, but it's 14 by 38, and that's where all my big equipment, like my table saw and all that stuff. And I've got. I wanted to take a picture of it this afternoon. My sons and I have been refurbishing my bass boat, so has taken lately priority over all the woodworking stuff. Yeah, we're wanting to do some fishing, so we've been trying to get it ready. But I have a big fan that I built. I got I think it's about a 48-inch fan out of an industrial. It's an industrial park, and I built a wooden frame around it. I'll get us some pictures of it. But that sits down there at the end of the door pointing out. And what I do is anytime I'm working in that shop, I'm talking about this thing moves some big-time air, 48 inches. It's run by a 2-horse motor, and it's on a pulley system with a belt, so it's not direct drive. But I fire that off, and anytime I'm doing anything out there, now I've got a dust collection system from Harbor Freight that's actually hooked up to a lot of the tools that pulls that dust there. But you fire that thing off, you can spray out there, you can do anything you want to, and it just goes straight, boom, right out the front of the shop. Yeah. So, no, I'm not saying I don't use my respirator, but I'm just saying that for the big part of the shop, it sucks everything out of the shop and throws it out in the front. I mean, my boat sits out there in front of it, so I have to move my boat out of the way if I'm going to do any spraying, or after a long day of hard working in the shop, I have to go out there and take the water hose and rinse my boat off, because now that's the big boat that's sitting out there. I have two boats. I have one 22-foot and then the other 18-foot bass boat. So, but yeah, that big fan, it was given to me, and I was like, heck yeah, I'll take that. It's like a big exhaust fan for the whole shop.
Hey, Russ, you ought to tell them that you got one of those buzzer systems for whoever goes through the gate.
Yeah, I was going to mention that earlier. One of the things that I keep from getting surprised is, but now that doesn't work if I'm got the table saw or anything on, but is I set up, my shop's self-contained and fenced off. In other words, you have to come through a gate, and if I lock the gate, you can't even get in. And the same way in the front of the shop that is open, there's gates there. But I put a driveway alarm through the main gate, so that if I'm around and my wife can't sneak up or nobody can sneak up on me, when they came through the gate, it would beep and let me know they're coming in, so it wouldn't sneak up on me. But if I'm doing a table saw or something, I might not be able to hear that. But yeah, Brian was talking to me the other day when it went off, and he goes, "What the heck's that?" And I said, "Somebody's coming in my shop."
You can hook up like a little red light that rolls around, letting people know that.
Yeah, you can do that.
Yeah.
Now, anybody else got any questions? I got one real quick. Now, Laney, I saw over there and I think you said one time too, or I've noticed that you have a sponsor. The Grippers is a sponsor of yours.
Yeah, I work with Micro G.
How do you like? I don't have one now. As far as for my table saw, my bandsaw and stuff, I use push blocks that I make myself out of wood, just sacrificial wood. So, but I've been really interested in those grippers. So, go ahead, give them a plug. I mean, I don't care. I'd like to know about them myself personally.
Yeah, absolutely. I use I do have, now keeping this in mind, I do have shop made, push sticks and things like that I use from time to time for whatever reason. But I do have my grip blocks and my grippers. My grip blocks I use at my bandsaw and on my router table. And then, of course, the grippers I use at the table saw. The grippers and the grip blocks work excellent. And what people need, one of the most important things that people need to understand is when sawdust and everything builds up on the rubber grip or on the board or something, you may tend to get a little slippage on the gripper, and it's not gripping. Just some denatured alcohol. Simply, after some use and everything, I always clean my pads with denatured alcohol, and that brings that grip back. So you have that, that lock, where it locks on. But you have people from time to time saying, the grippers they tend to slip or this or that. Denatured alcohol or anything like that will, or even I think rubbing alcohol would work too. You clean the buildup and of sawdust and everything off the grips. But I use those quite often in any of the operations, whether I'm on camera or off camera. I've had 2 kickbacks in my shop, and one, like I said, I caught on film while I was filming a video project. The second one, I'll save that for the woodshop convention. But no, just to give them a plug, it's an excellent product. There's a lot of different products out there. You've got your shop dog push sticks and everything, but the grippers for me, they're not only, even if they weren't a sponsor of the show, I would use them. They've done well, especially because, like I said, I have had a couple of incidents on the table saw, and so now those and a combination of those and my riving knife. That's my safety pitch of the day.
Now you can use the grippers for more than one tool, right? They're just not for the table saw. You can use them for a router and stuff like that, correct?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. You can use grippers, the grippers. You can use them on any of the tools. Your bandsaw, your router table, your table saw. But I have the grip blocks as well, and so I use those on my bandsaw and the router table. They're side by side. My 2 units are side by side, so they get shared between there, and then my grippers stay over on my table saw. So that's just the reason why they get used over there.
Another good thing is you see how you're putting your grippers on top of your tabletop? A good tip is to keep them off waxed tops, because all that wax transfers to those. That'll cause some slippage also. Yep. So, like most people, they put like these little hangers that they make that either pretty close to the saw or they hang on to the fence. So when they're done using the push blocks, they put them on those surface, what am I trying to say? Like a stand that's not waxed, not dirty, whatnot. You just put them right back in their spot.
Yeah, for sure. Now, I have, I built that big old table saw base for my table saws, and there's a shelf, an open shelf underneath, and that's where they all sit. And of course, I have my other push blocks and stuff too, that I made in the shop. I'm a big fan of making jigs and stuff. There's no, it's not like, it's the only way you can be safe. It's a good way to be safe, but I've got my shop-made stuff as well. Now, Russ, you were talking about the big air filter that you have, or the big air fan, and if I could just kind of rotate my camera a little bit, and
yeah, there you go.
Wow.
now this fan, we'll come back here a little bit, but that fan came out of an attic, a big house attic. I was remodeling a house, and I thought to myself that my other shop, it's a little 10 by 10 building, it was my very first shop. I thought to myself, I'm going to turn that into a finishing building, like a spray booth or what have you. I haven't done it yet, but in the meantime, I've got this 2 bay doors that I always use. I never use this door that's here in my shop. So I mounted the fan to that door, and when I open that door and kick that fan on, I've got, I wired it to where I have a forward and reverse so I can pull air in or push out. And because the blades are, tilted one way or another, it doesn't, but it's just like the little switch that you have in your house where the ceiling fans will either push air down or pull it up, same thing. And that's, I don't know how big it is. I want to say it's about 36 inches by 36 inches or something. It moves some air.
Mine is, I say 48 inches. It might be more than that. It's because actually with the case that I built for it, it's on rollers. I can move it around. It's almost it comes up to the bottom of my chin when I'm standing up next to it. So it's at least 48, maybe a little bit more than 48 inches. And yes, you can literally stand at the back of the shop, and the 38-foot shop, that's at the front of the shop. I can literally stand back there, and if you're standing at that, I've got like a 4-foot opening at the back of the shop where I walk through. It feels like you're standing there. It feels like about a hurricane force winds pulling you through it. Sometimes it gets so bad, like if I'm trying to spray some small objects, I have a thing I pull out in the middle of the shop, and I can hang objects off of it to spray. It's actually so windy in there with that thing going that it actually moves the objects, pulls it towards it, and I have to turn it off to just be able to spray them. So it's an industrial fan that came out of a warehouse is where it came from. I was trying to think of that earlier where it came from, and a guy was doing some remodeling, some demolition, who was a contractor friend of mine, and he got there's like 6 of them in this place, and he called me up and says, "Hey, I got one of these fans. You want it?" And I said, "Heck yeah." He said, "Well, the motor's no good." I said, "I don't care." So I made my own frame. I'll get a picture of it one day, but I made my own, took 3/4 inch plywood and made my own frame, and then made chicken wire to keep you from sticking your hands in there, and surrounded it with like chicken wire. It's actually not chicken wire. It's a little 1/4 inch by 1/4 inch, what do you call that wire? Openings. I forgot the name of it. Hardware cloth? Yeah, I think it's hardware cloth. And covered it all in that to keep you from putting your hand in it. So it's a heck of a fan, trust me.
Oh yeah, mine's belt driven too. It's surprisingly quiet. All you hear is the whoosh of the wind.
Yeah, it is surprisingly quiet. I'm looking over here, and once again, I don't know if you know it, Laney. I have another laptop over here where I watch YouTube for all the questions and stuff. Everybody's just chatting away. One of the questions was how long it took me to grow my beard. This November will be 1 year. I started in November of 2014. So
Still a work in progress.
It's still a work in progress. Where do I get the money for all the tools I want? Russ. Donald from Donald Vlogs I Would Shop asked that. Where do you get all the tools? Well, you could rob a bank. No, I'm not going to go there. No, just kidding. But, I haven't. I didn't acquire the tools that I have overnight. I'm 58 years old, and I've been collecting tools. I think as soon as I was born, my father put a hammer in my hand, so I've been around woodworking all my life. So I've been collecting tools since I was probably 15 or 16 years old, and it didn't happen overnight. It's taken a long period of time. So
yeah. Now, like in my shop, I don't have very many tools in my shop, but my bandsaw, that was given to me by the community, by fans and friends and everything who came together and gifted this to me, and it was one of the greatest, memories and things that I have in my shop. And I don't do enough bandsaw videos to show that thing off. I love it, but I'm a big advocate of Craigslist. You can find some really good deals for tools, and there, if you catch it just at the right time. I've had where woodworkers, whether they unfortunately have passed away or they just can't do it anymore, so they're selling their whole wood shop, and you can walk in there and you can get your hands on some really nice tools. I've saved money up, like my table saw. It's from Lowe's, so I saved money up for that. I saved money up for my little mini lathe. Got my little mini lathe, and then fortunately, I built my router, but fortunately, like my CNC and everything, that with working with companies, that I work with and everything, I've been able to acquire those tools. But most of my stuff is Harbor Freight, Craigslist, or Lowe's. I'm not gonna promote Lowe's, but I'm a Lowe's shopper.
I got a guy over on YouTube said he's never Sugar Beet Company Woodwork says, I'm never shaving again. I want one of those. Do you need to take any precautions to keep it out of the table saw or anything? No, it ain't got long enough yet to that I've got it caught in. Although the other day when we were working on the bass boat, this is well, I'll save that one for a few more minutes. Anyway, I haven't got it caught in any tool or anything yet, but I've got a couple more things. The reason I say that, we're fixing to come up on something and everybody enjoys and everybody like, and I think some of my panel has been on here a few times. They know what I'm talking about. One guy said, I use my dehumidifier with an extra filter for cleaning the air. That's not a bad idea, although I don't think a dehumidifier moves a lot of air. I mean, but that's not a bad idea. I'm looking through real quick to see if I need or see any more questions that anybody asked. Anybody on the panel while I'm doing this have anything to ask? Laney?
Just going back to what Laney was saying, with my bandsaw, I found it driving by a house. It was laying next to the street. They were going to throw it away. It was tore up and broke down and everything, and I asked the guy how much he wanted for it. I paid him $20, came back and rebuilt the whole thing, and it's a nice bandsaw.
Okay, that's where I would kind of yell, score!
Yeah, it was a huge score.
Man,
it was the 14-inch Delta.
Yeah, isn't it amazing what people will throw away?
The guy said that he could never get the blade to run right, and he had actually cut through the front panel, and so I kind of bundled that up and got it all straightened out. And what ended up happening is he broke the tilt mechanism, so I just ordered that for like $30. And
yeah, man. You just can't.
Yeah, so about $50, I got a pretty nice Delta 14-inch bandsaw.
Yeah, man. You can't beat that with a stick. You want. But I here in Ocala on Saturday. I don't know if it's Sundays, but I know on Saturdays, if you watch the Craigslist and everything, they have what's called curbside notifications. I think it's called like curb notifications, whatever. Where people they're like, okay, this is going out on the curb, and first come first serve. Whoever wants it, come get it, kind of thing. And you can find some. It's amazing what people put out on the curb. A lot of the furniture that I've refinished and rebuilt and you know, we used in the house and all, I found on the side of the curb. And you know, if it's got a little chip or something taken out, they throw it away. It's like, oh, I can fix that.
Yeah, for real. All right, we're winding down to the end of the show. Anybody else on the panel got anything they want to ask, Laney?
I was just gonna mention, like, I'm not really promoting it in stores and stuff, but the dollar store actually works really good, like for bringing in products and stuff. Like I got these sticks. I picked these up for $1. They're plastic and they actually got a 45-degree bevel on them for putting on the side of your wood, pushing through. They work really good. Those dust masks as well. But I also
the dollar store.
Yeah, the dollar store.
Huh.
Yeah, John, also from the dollar store, those little silicone basting brushes. I use those as my glue brushes.
Yeah, I use them all the time too. And also when I'm doing a lot of my sanding, I pick up this shelf liner, right? It's a gripper shelf liner as well, and I got a 10-foot roll for $1. So
yeah, man.
Wow. That's cool.
And also one last thing, I did a job a couple weeks ago, and I picked up this blue safety light.
Oh, that's cool.
Right?
He's gonna build him a TARDIS.
So yeah, what I was gonna do is hook this up to a doorbell at my shop entrance. That way I can see it. I was gonna put a mirror behind it as well, so that it'll actually shine through the shop when people are ringing the doorbell, so that they can come in.
Well, one note on that is you know the garage door sensors, the little two lasers, kind of like an invisible beam, and it lets you know like if when a garage door is coming down, it won't let it come down. Well, I've heard of people putting those out in their driveway and everything, and it like would blink a light or something if somebody pulls in their driveway. And I thought about doing that. There's a garage door place that they have a bunch of junk parts that they just throw away. I thought about getting some of those sensors and wiring it to a light or something. I think that would be neat. Like if somebody walked a certain distance or walked a certain path or whatever, it kind of blink. But that's a cool blue light, brother.
Yeah, that is pretty cool. Now I got mine. Mine is called a driveway sensor. I got it off. Now it doesn't blink, but it makes a noise. And I got mine off of Amazon. I found it, and it was only like $20. I've had it for a little over a month, and it works great. Anybody comes through that gate to come into my shop, it goes off, and I know they're coming.
Right.
So that's just. I don't know if you could. I'm sure if you were electronically inclined, there's got to be a way of adding some small, like an LED or something, maybe to flash, so you could see that also.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool. All right, we're about to wind down. A couple of things that I want to say real quick before we get into one of the favorite parts of the show is, as if y'all haven't noticed, I'm going to have to toot my own horn a little bit. I entered the Summers Woodworking Birdhouse competition, and yeah, you got it right. I got first place. So
It was rigged. It was rigged.
This is my. I had to bring this on the show tonight and put it behind me. I even made me. Brian said, "You put a ribbon on your birdhouse?" Heck yeah, I put a ribbon on that sucker. That took first place, buddy. So yeah, there's my entry, and that's what took first place. So thank you, Brian. I know I told you that on a couple of things, but I just want to extend right out here in front of everybody. Thank you for having the competition. I enjoyed it very, very much. Thank you and all the sponsors.
Thank you for entering, man. That thing's awesome.
So I really appreciate what you do for the woodworking community. Yeah, everybody give Brian a big round of applause. I really do appreciate that, what you do, and I look forward to doing it next year. I had a really good time. So,
you're going to have to come with more than a smoking chimney this time.
Yeah, if you didn't.
Chimney took the cake, but it won't happen next year.
Hey, Russ, since we're here on the show talking about birdhouses, Chris, do you have yours around?
For me?
Yeah, do you have yours, Andy?
Oh, mine's up on a pole in the yard now.
I think he's
yours
already
was
mounted
very
it.
good too. I really liked yours.
Thanks.
Yeah, and Laney, if you haven't seen the video of mine, actually the chimney does have smoke coming out of it. So if you get a chance, watch my video, and you'll get a kick out of it. It actually smokes. And I had 2 birds in it that I had to kick out. Even though they were lovebirds, they were living on love because they wasn't paying me no darn rent. So I kicked their butts out.
No, I'll definitely have to check it out because I've been admiring it over your shoulder as you know, as I'm watching you and everything, and that's a very nice build, brother. Very
Thank
nice. You. Very deserving of the first place.
Yeah, I got the little flagpole. I even went so much on the flagpole as to put. It's even got the little line running up it to run the flag up and down.
Oh yeah.
A lot of detail.
It's all in the details, isn't it?
Yeah, and if you haven't noticed, there's actually a birdhouse
in the front and back,
and a miniature birdhouse on my birdhouse. So,
yeah.
All right, we're down. We're going to run over a little bit tonight, but I think everybody can understand that. A lot of people over here. Congratulations, Russ. I appreciate it. Thank you very much. We're into the favorite part of the show that we do every once in a while, and I cannot resist since we've got new and fresh victim here tonight. Laney is on he's never been on here before. We're going to enter into Woodshop Confessions. And what that is I'm going to ask Laney, I want you to tell us a few things that you have done in your shop. Confess to us that you've done in your shop that were really just after you did it, you went like, what the heck was I thinking? So you started
Laney,
off.
do you got your lawyer?
Well, now I kind of gave away the one earlier when I was talking about the lathe and all. I have well, on camera I've caught myself with a kickback, but off camera I have knocked myself almost out twice. The first time was on the lathe when I was turning that stock and it flew off and it hit me, and like I said, it felt like a 200-pound man just decked me, and so now, like I said, I know I can take a punch. But not too long back, The only other stupid thing that I've done a lot of stupid things in my shop, but the one that kind of registers home the most is I was cutting a piece of plywood, 3/4 inch plywood, and it was about I was cutting it down to like 12 by 12, and I had cross cut the one side, and when I went to turn, and as I was pushing in, I don't know what I was doing or what happened, but for some reason that piece of plywood lifted up. And when it did, the blade caught it, and that thing come back, and it was a 12 by 12 missile. It come back and hit me in the chest. It literally picked me up about 1.5 feet off the ground, and I hit my back and butt hit those two bay doors behind me. It knocked me back about 10 foot, and I thought I was dead. I laid there, I couldn't breathe, couldn't do anything, and I thought, Walter, and that's what I call myself. You know, everybody calls me Laney, but when I screw up, I call myself Walter. That's my real name for those of you who don't know. But my what in the world? And so I mean, really, that's about knocking myself out twice. That's kind of my shop confessions. That's the two things that I've really thank God nobody else was around because. As I've seen stars quite a few times.
Did you get that on camera, Laney?
No, the one kickback I did get on camera. It's on my video channel.
Yeah, I know that one.
That was a little small piece, and it put welt on me like this. But I had my whole chest where that it was the corner of that 12 by 12 piece that hit me. My whole chest. It looked like I was wearing a undergarment. It was black and blue all the way across my chest. And it knocked the bejesus out of me. Yeah.
We had a lot of feedback, so I'm sorry, guys, on the panel. I went down and started muting a lot of you because we were getting a lot of echo and feedback. That's the reason I went through and didn't mean to hurt anybody's feelings, but that's all the reason I did it. Anybody else want to do your confession while we're at it? I mean, come on, guys, bring it forward. I want to call you out.
I got one. It has to do with the lathe too. Like I said, I haven't done too much lathe work, but I have the full size, the Harbor Freight one, and I got on it, and I didn't have that piece centered very well as I thought I did. So I get to going, and it's turning, and I stop the machine, I walk away to do something, and I come back, and I flip the machine on. And I've got that little Harbor Freight flimsy mask also. And I've turned the machine on. It's a lucky thing for me that I was on the side of that piece, because when I flipped the switch back on, that piece come out of that sucker. And if I'd have been standing there, it would have caught me right in the chest, man. Scared the crap out of me. I said, "Oh, that's it. I'm through for a while." Yeah, I was close. It didn't hit me though.
Oh. Anybody else?
I got a quick one. About this time of year, a couple years back, actually, no, I think about it was March, it was warming up, and I just got the brand new Portacable table saw, my birthday. I'm working on the house. I had a quick cut to make. I come running out, bay door is open, freezing out, so I kept my gloves on. I know, should be pushing wood through the saw with gloves on. But again, getting distracted slightly, I was pushing through, and I don't know what caught my attention, but it wasn't the saw blade, that's for sure. Caught the glove and jerked my hand, just nicked my thumb on the blade. But at the same time, my ER nurse wife was pulling in the driveway from a 12-hour shift. And I'm standing there with my hand down below the table saw so she can't see it. And waiting to get my glove. And the look on her face just squared out and she said, "What did you do?" She doesn't like the table saw. She hates when she hears me turn it on. So I just said, "Oh, it's just a scratch." And next thing you know, we're in the kitchen. She's putting a butterfly stitch on it and taking care of me. So,
I remember that one night telling on your. I'm going to tell on you too. You told on yourself as he was on the show and he had this mirror. Go ahead, you tell it.
I was working on a commission piece, rebuilding a frame, making a frame for a coworker's mirror. And I went to move it, over to the top of the table saw where I had nice soft spots for it to sit. But there was so much sawdust on my hands and on the glass, it slid right through my fingers. I didn't feel it sliding.
Oh.
You know, it hit the cement floor of the shop. Concrete and mirror don't mix well. It shattered.
Yeah, right. It was on the show, wasn't it?
It was the show was just getting started. I was trying to clean up. But
yeah, I think just before the show started. Yeah, he was like, well, I don't. He was going to show us or something. He goes, well, I don't guess I'll be able to put that mirror in the frame tomorrow. I have to look for one.
So we had a mirror of almost the exact same size down in our basement, so I was able to replace it real fast.
All right, I was going to tell one earlier, so I avoided it until now. We're redoing my that bass boat, like I said earlier, and the compartments, like the live wells and stuff, have doors on them, and so we took all those off and stripped them. They had carpet on them. We stripped all the carpet on them, and so we were putting new carpet. So my sons and I were in that other part of the shop working on them, and I had one of them in my hand because what I would do is I would put the glue on it, and then I would hold it, and they would put the carpet down on the workbench, and I would just flip it upside down and set it on the workbench so we could pull it and stretch it and put it over the lip, so to speak. So as I was holding my hand like this, I was sitting here talking to them, and yeah, I was sitting there talking to him, and as I'm talking to him, I didn't even pay any attention, and my one son looked at me and goes, I don't know if you know it or not, but your beard is all inside the glue on that. And I looked down, and my whole end of my beard was stuck to that lid where the glue was. Oh, yeah, they got it. Both of my sons sitting there rolling on the floor. They were, like, laughing their butts off. I'm like, yeah, thanks a whole lot. So they ended up putting it on. Fortunately, it was a water-soluble type glue. It's supposed to be waterproof after it dries, but I was able to go over to the water hose and take some soap and wash it out, so it didn't do any permanent damage. But
I was looking for some mineral spirit.
no, it was water. It cleaned up with soap and water, so I was fortunate about that. Yeah, I was thinking like put mineral spirits or lacquer thinner in this sucker. Yeah. So, well, that was mine. That was funny as crap. They were laughing their butts off, and I'm standing there with a whole beard full of glue down here. It's like, anybody else? Ryan, you don't want to confess? Speak now, or forever hold your peace.
Oh, there's a couple of stupid things that I've done. And luckily, didn't do no permanent damage. One was I was working on my cheap bandsaw at the time, and instead of keeping the piece flat on the table, I was trying to do an angled cut. And I lift up on that thing, and that tooth caught that wood, and it just slammed, and it just scared the bejesus out of me. And another time is I was using the microdial tapering jig, and I wasn't using it with the grip block, and I was just holding it down with my hand, and I was cutting a piece of maple too thin at the taper, and what happened was the saw blade grabbed that piece of wood, flipped it up and around, and darn near chopped my thumb off.
Jeez.
Yeah, I had a good gash in that, and that's about all the scariness that I could talk about.
Now, Russell, the woodshop confessions, does it count if it happened like right outside the door of the woodshop?
Yeah, it's like stuff that you around the woodshop.
Because I'm a pretty not a clumsy guy, but for some reason I tend to like to try to knock myself out. I don't know why. And I was just thinking about it. I thought, well, what other stupid things have I done in the shop? And just not too long back, I was loading up a piece of furniture in the back of. I had a Jeep Grand Cherokee. It's got a back door, the hatchback, and it wasn't quite fitting on us. So I had a bungee cord that was probably about that long. It's Harbor Freight bungee cord. They don't have much stretch on them and everything. Well, I thought for sure I was going to be able to just stretch this thing around down underneath and hook it to my little Reese hitch. Well, that hook at the top stretched out. It went from curl to stretch out. And I don't know if you guys have ever been hit by a fully stretched bungee cord.
Yep.
But I've got my unibrow, one that I shaved, but I've got a nice split right here to where my eyebrow won't grow. So if you're ever watching me closed up on camera, take a look. But there's a nice little gash there that no hair will grow into now. So I've got this funky third eyebrow going on.
The bungee cord did that?
Yeah, man. It you can't stretch a bungee cord beyond its limits. So.
Oh, yeah, the hook kind of straightened out and gave.
Wow.
It you know the part that goes around the bungee, that curly part that kind of it's like a knuckle.
Yeah.
And when it came fully stretched, it just popped me. I've got this thing about hitting myself in the head or knocking myself out. I don't know why.
I see a pattern there. Yeah.
I just realized there's a pattern there. I was like,
yeah,
trying to think of other stupid things I've done in the shop, and I thought, well, wait a minute. I have a habit of trying to knock myself out. I don't know what's up with that.
All right, Tom. I was going to say Tommy unmuted himself, so I was fixing to come for you.
Well, I was just going to say, Laney, it's all making sense now, hitting yourself in the head all the time.
Right? That's where the goofiness comes from.
Well, now, come on. Since you unmuted yourself, you got to tell us a story.
Well, I was cutting a piece on the bandsaw once, and that piece closed up on that blade, and the blade came off the bandsaw and everything. So I took the whole thing, and I grabbed that piece of wood, and I was twisting that blade and trying to get it loose, and it slipped and cut right across my finger, and it was a pretty good gash. But I never even realized that underneath where I'd grabbed, the blade was just right there, and yeah, got me.
See, the interesting thing about that, Tommy, is what we were all talking about in this shop confessions, for a video subject of safety.
We're all pretty unsafe.
It wasn't too smart to put the shop confessions after a safety show. I didn't quite think that one through.
That might have been something to lead with, so we could talk about how to avoid.
One of my favorites is Steve Good, and he told it on the show, and I'll repeat this one real quick. But that he told was it wasn't really a wood shop confession, but he told the time he was trying to cook, and it started burning. The smoke got in his house, and the fire alarm went off, and it was like, you know how they drive you crazy. So he went over there, and he was trying to get the cover off to take the battery out of it, and he couldn't get the stupid cover off of it, and it kept going off, and it was aggravating him more and more. So he reached up, and he finally just got so frustrated, he grabbed it and pulled it off the wall. And just about the time he had it in his hands, his wife opened the front door and looked at him and said, "What the heck are you doing with the doorbell?" So that one's pretty good. Somebody asked me over here, said, did I get any video of the glue in my beard? No, but trust me, if there'd have been an opportunity, they know better. I'd have beat their butts if they'd have pulled out a camera and tried to film that. They knew better than that. So, well, everybody is kind of confessed. And one thing I would point out, these confessions are supposed to be kind of like, I know, funny and make everybody tell some stories on themselves. I've got one real quick. How many times, and I don't know how many times, you start talking about trying to knock yourself out. I don't know how many times I've been on a job and doing work and have a ladder and put a tool or my hammer on top of the ladder and then pick the ladder up to move it. Oh yeah, I've got several knots on the top of my head over the years from that hammer or whatever it was coming down and hitting me on the head. Yeah, I don't know. It's inevitably forget about that dad-burned tool on top of the ladder, and you snatch it up and move it.
Yeah, guilty.
Yeah, most you and Laney needs to wear hard hats in your shop.
Yeah. I think he needs to wrap his butt in bubble wrap.
I'm telling you, face shield, man. I'm like. And of course, I'm not a vain guy. Come on, I'm just me. But when you split something, it's like no, not the face.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I'm trying to make a living on YouTube.
Laney, I think you need a helmet.
Well, that's what I said. I think he needs to wrap himself in bubble wrap. Like, geez, you know how they got the kid that stays in the little cert or little thing and whatever that can't get near germs.
Boy in the bubble.
Yeah, the boy in the bubble. There you go. The boy Laney used to be the boy in the bubble wrap.
Yeah, and now the inside joke will be the next. One of these videos you'll see me wearing a motorcycle or a football helmet or something.
That'd be pretty good.
We'll just get him a helmet and crayons for Christmas.
Yeah. Well, the overall.
No, I need a helmet with all y'all stickers on it, man.
There you go. The overall thing about it is, though, and being trying to be sincere here is, it's safety equipment utmost important, whether it be respirators, glasses, ear protection, eye protection, you name it, utmost important in your shop. Be conscious and aware when you go to do something also, because I've done some bonehead things over the years, and I'm fortunate, very fortunate, thank God, that I haven't lost any digits. So, and like I said, I've done a lot of bonehead things, but be aware when you're in your shop. Stay safe. Overall, stay safe. Think about things. Think about it before you do it. Sometimes I wished I had. But I appreciate everybody being on the panel. Thank you, Laney, and we'd love to have you back anytime you want to come back. If you got between now and you have to start doing your woodworking shows, maybe you can step back in and join us again.
Yeah, absolutely. I would love it. And again, Russell, I told you this the other day, but thank you for inviting me to your show. It's been a pleasure. And if I could say just one last thing, when it comes to safety in the shop, don't get hung up on the products or the price or anything. You don't have to spend a lot of money to be safe. And many of us, as woodworkers, our push sticks, we've made them ourselves, and just as simple as a piece of scrap wood. So don't get hung up and think, oh no, I'm not going to wear this because it's just too expensive, or I'm not going to use this because I don't want to buy it or whatever. You don't have to spend a lot of money to be safe. You know what I mean? So.
Yeah, you're right about that. You don't have to spend a lot of money to be safe. So I appreciate it. Thank you for being on the show. I appreciate you coming. Thank everybody on the panel. Thank everybody for watching. I've been trying to keep an eye on over here and see how many people have asked questions and everything. I think it's pretty well calmed down as for the questions over here. But I appreciate everybody. Stay safe in your shop, and I'll usually end the show with don't forget, keep the blade on the line, which that's kind of my thing. But I've also started a new thing the other day that I started doing my videos. As we close out here, I'm going to tell you, if you're too darn busy to get out in your shop and make sawdust, you're just too darn busy. Thank you, and God bless.